Hey, everyone! I wanted to make a more chill video this week, and I hope you're gonna enjoy it. Have you seen the Hatsune Miku as different Pokemon trainer types designs? They have been kind of everywhere lately, and I totally get why. They're amazing. They are such high-quality designs, it's crazy to think they are not part of any actual Pokemon games. You can tell they were made by professionals. Of course, as someone who loves Nintendo, it's only natural I'm also very fond of Pokemon. And as someone who also loves everything cute, the fairy type happens to be my favorite. And how lucky am I that the design they made for fairy type trainer Miku is so perfect. So today we are taking it easy and drawing Hatsune Miku as a fairy type Pokemon trainer. Grab a drink or a snack and enjoy the process along with me as we chat. What I like the most about the designs is how inspired they are. Whether that inspiration comes from cultural elements, alternative fashion, or actual Pokemons from the game. It's all amazing and so perfectly executed. For fairy-type Miku, the main inspiration for her looks was the Gi-Aru Japanese fashion subculture that first started in Japan in the 70s. I actually had no idea it was so long ago before making this video. I'm no expert in regards to that fashion and its history, but I do definitely love how it looks. And for some more context, the style first started as an act of rebellion against the Japanese beauty standard for women. It's usually recognized by heavily bleached and dyed hair, lots of accessories, heavy makeup that makes the eyes seem larger and super cute, and heavily decorated nails. I think they totally nailed the look and silhouette with this design. The style has many subgenres, and it seems like the one they've picked for Miku is Gi-Aru. It's easily recognized by the use of a high school uniform for the outfit, which is the very base of Gi-Aru as a subgenre. It's perfect for Miku as her usual Vocaloid outfit is very school uniform-like. Now that I'm thinking about it, I think it's the first time I've made an actual drawing of Miku. Somehow that sounds kinda crazy as someone who has loved Vocaloids for well over a decade now. It feels like every artist has drawn her at least once, right? I mean, I do remember making maybe 1 or 2 pencil sketches of her, but that was so long ago. But it's never too late to get started. Most of the time, if I drew anything related to Vocaloid, it'd be Len Kagamine as he was my favorite. His design is so cute, I should try to draw him again someday. Now with the sketch done, it's time to put some colors all over the place. With the Pokemon Miku designs looking so different, I guess I should probably draw Miku looking more like her usual self too someday. One thing about Vocaloid characters is that they have some really cool character design elements. I love how most of the Vocaloid 2 characters have this sort of futuristic vibes going on with them. It really nails down the image of artificial beings, sort of like robots. But then you also have so many other characters with such different and unique vibes. What I especially love is that they proceed in a similar way they have for the Pokemon Miku collab, as in they usually have a different artist working on each character. So you can have 2 characters that will looking completely different in artistic styles, but still both be Vocaloids nonetheless. They have no world building restrictions, so their design can be just whatever as long as it matches the voice they're given. A bit like my Zodiac characters from my previous video, which you should totally check out by the way, wink wink. Part 2 should be out soon. Anyways, not only that, but Vocaloid songs are so cool. So many producers of Vocaloid songs started out from that and are now producing music for actual real people. It's no surprise to me, as I find Vocaloid songs to be so rich in creativity and passion. Unrelated to the current subject, but as you can see from Miku's eyes, I tried to replicate the type of makeup you can typically see from Gi-Aru's. It may not translate perfectly as that in my style though, but I think it still looks cute. The eyelashes were really fun to draw this way, and I'm really happy with how the bottom lashes turned out especially. It felt like a real treat to work on the eyes, and they're my favorite part of the drawing, along with the nails which you'll see later on in the process. Now to get back on Vocaloid music, I don't know if that's just me, but I feel like I somehow managed to always like the most niche, unknown Vocaloid songs there is. I don't listen to them as much as I used to like 10 years ago, but sometimes I look up some of them and the results are so scarce. How did I even manage to find most of them? I mean, of course I loved the classics such as Butterfly on Your Right Shoulder, World is Mine, Daughter of Evil. But then there's this song called Dance Side of Darkness. Does anyone else even know about it? I'm glad I can still somehow find it on YouTube, or else I could start thinking I somehow made it up in my head. There was also this group they made with Len, Kaito and Gakupo called Van and Ice, though thankfully I know the songs are at least more well known. But that's what I really love about Vocaloid. You can have so many different people making so many songs, so you're bound to find something to fit your taste, no matter how obscure that may be. And then you'd have all these artists making whole music videos just for the songs, interpreting them in their own ways. Vocaloid was and still is a perfect vessel for creativity in my opinion. I'm sure they never thought their synthesized voice banks would gather such a big and passionate community. I'm really glad Miku, with her popularity, can bring more attention to the Vocaloids as a whole. In a way she's kind of like Pikachu. Not initially meant to be the face of their company, but with a design so complete, managed to grow to immense popularity and now represent the media therefrom. Now, speaking of Pokemon, something I find kind of rare for people of my generation is that I was not a Pokemon kid. I did play a bit of Pokemon Stadium on the Nintendo 64, but I didn't have a Game Boy and it took a while before I even had a DS of my own. What really got me into Pokemon was a game I know a lot of people dislike, as it's often considered the start of a decline of quality from the series. A game that made a lot of mechanics too easy. You know, Pokémon X and Y. That was my first real Pokemon game, and I absolutely loved it. To this day, the game still has a special place in my gamer heart. Sure, it's flawed, sure, the rivals are absolutely annoying. But I love it. I can't help it. The outfits and the haircuts you can have for your characters are super cute, and I love the Kalos region. I love the soundtracks and I love Lumiose City. And it introduced the fairy type. So, yeah, I am a Pokemon X and Y defender. Miku's design here reminds me a lot of Sylveon, especially the color palette. Also, funny story I have with Sylveon. I really wanted one, so I made my research, and I saw that Eevee was kind of a rarer Pokemon. Now, I had no previous Pokemon experience. So I didn't know if rare here was like, practically impossible to find type of rare. So when I encountered my first ever Eevee, well, I didn't want to ruin this moment, right? So I used my Master Ball. Because I didn't know you only got a single one of those during the game. Here's my Sylveon, who never even had a chance to escape from me. So then, when I got to my battle with Xerneas, I couldn't just secure the catch with a Master Ball. So instead, I spent probably 30 minutes throwing Premier Balls at it until it finally worked. And thank goodness I had a lot of those, which was a complete coincidence in the first place. I think I bought something like 200 of them because it'd give me style points or something, so I could be able to enter that one fancy clothing store. That's what my priorities were back then. And honestly, it still is. I'm not forgiving Scarlet and Violet for forcing a uniform on my character. I want cute clothes. So this is how my Pokemon journey started. After all these years though, my favorite Pokemon game as of now is Heart Gold. The whole experience of the game is just perfect. The music is amazing, the Johto region is amazing, the fact you can go back to Kanto is amazing, and everything about the game is amazing to me. I love the original games too, Red and Blue. They're so charming and engaging, it's no wonder Pokemon became so popular. Oh, and I love Sun and Moon as well. And it's 100% a complete coincidence if all my favorite Pokemon games contain in one way or another Blue/Green/Gary. Obviously, it's definitely not like he's my favorite character and that I always tend to like mean and self-absorbed characters. Obviously. So by now most of the drawing is finished, it just needs some cleaning up and small details I forgot to add before. You can't see it too well unfortunately, but I added a bedazzled Jigglypuff on one of her nails, since she's seen with one on her official artwork. They do make a perfect pair. The nails also have a cheetah pattern on some of them, since it's an element that is seen pretty often in Gyaru fashion. I feel like this drawing kind of looks like a shoujo manga cover. It's probably because of the cutesy pose and the big sparkly eyes, and I'm not complaining, I'm actually really happy with how it turned out. Well, maybe it's just me who thinks it looks like a manga cover though. Now it makes me want to add some shoujo filter on it, with big sparkles and roses. Funnily enough though, I'm not a big fan of shoujos in general. I really only just enjoy the aesthetics of it, I guess. Fruits Basket will always be the only shoujo in my heart. After adjusting the colors a bit, I didn't feel quite satisfied enough at that point with the drawing to call it done. I directly color picked from the reference pictures for the colors, and it turns out the pink in Miku's hair is the exact same as the sweatshirt she's wearing. So it's all kind of blending together too much for my taste. I decided it'd be best to add some textures to it, so I transferred the drawing onto Ibis Paint and got to work on that. Since it has a huge library of textures and patterns, it's really the best way to go for this. I first tried this heart pattern, to maybe make a callback to the heart-shaped highlight I gave her in her eyes, and it did look pretty cute honestly. However, after looking at it for a bit I decided to keep searching still, and that's when I had the idea of a cheetah pattern. As I said previously, it's really not rare to see a Gyaru outfit with a cheetah print incorporated in some way. So it only felt natural to go for that. I know it's not in her original design, but I figured as long as it seemed fitting for the theme it was okay. After that, I went ahead and did some more adjusting off camera to make the drawing pop as much as it should. And here is the result. As you can see, I gave in and added some of those infamous shoujo sparkles. I couldn't resist it. This is definitely a very colorful drawing, maybe just a bit painful for the eye, but it was so relaxing to draw. Maybe I'll have to give a try to those other Miku designs too. Well, I hope you liked this video. Thank you so much for watching and stay tuned for part 2 of my Zodiac series. See you soon.